guys, so I passed my personal training exam just now, really good, passed with flying colours. Told I had a really good session with her, it was really good, just in case you can't hear me. And now I'm just having lunch, because I'm really long way in heat. And I've got a Mexican chicken hot pot. I love these hot pots, it's that there. And I've got some vegetable crisps, just because I haven't eaten these in ages. Fancied them. And then I've got a fruit salad, 3 of my 5 a day, and my mum's got a salad, and I've also got a big bottle of water. Actually love eating, and it went really well. The whole thing, I'm with Ymca, all a bit pedantic, a lot of waiting around, they don't know their processes very well. The information is good, the feedback was really good, she gave me a lot of feedback, it's really great, and I'm hopefully going to move on from here. And sorry if it's really bad noise, so I'll leave you there. So I'm going to open my hot pot now. Let's have a look, see what it's like. Mexican chicken hot pot. They have hot pots all the time. Last time I came, I had pulled pork. It was a lovely. Boom. And they have this on MyFitnessPal. Obviously, it's an estimate, but while I'm bulking, I'm not too worried. There's some coleslaw on top. Creme fraiche chicken, Mexican chicken there, and some wild rice in there. Looking forward to that big time. Hi guys, I just want to give you like a brief overview of that entire course, because obviously I've just completed it. I did it with Discovery Learning from the UK on the Ymca course. At the time, I was ignorant to the fact there were different boards you could do it with. So there's like Ymca, there's NCSA, there's NASM, ACSM. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but there's quite a lot of different boards you can do them with, and you should really educate yourself, look at them all, see what they provide, and pick the one that suits you best. At the end of the day, I went with Ymca. They're all going to have a core education that they're going to provide you, I'm sure, like anatomy and physiology is going to be pretty, well, it's fact, so it's going to be the same for each. So I'm with Ymca, that's happened. Discovery Learning. They fit my lifestyle part-time. It was every month, 2 Saturday and Sunday, 10 till 6 each day. They didn't often last that whole time. They were often shorter than that. It was a lot of waiting around. I didn't feel like I got a lot from the days. It was nice talking to other people, it was good socializing, but especially the level 2, if you've been in a gym before and you've been training for a while, the level 2 is horrible. You go on the weekends and you're just like, really? You don't like, and people are asking questions like, just completely crazy questions. How to use some equipment, and it literally just tells you how to use it on the machine itself anyway. But that's happened. So the level 2 is quite frustrating in that aspect, and there's a lot of waiting around with Discovery Learning I found. It's about 2 months, and then a theory exam, and then the next month was like a practical exam. And so for the theory exam there, it's pretty basic, it's multiple choice, it's fairly easy if you know, if you've done biology A-level, GCSE, or have some form of education of that, because of course I'm talking about the UK. It's relatively easy, it's very passable without revising. I probably could have passed that just straight away. Multiple choice, bang, done. It's pretty damn easy. The practical exam is also pretty easy. I don't see many people failing that. What you have to be aware of, and what I had to be aware of, was safety procedures. You have to be precise with like getting on machines, getting off machines. It's quite pedantic in that aspect. Proper technique with things, so like squatting and things. You want the knees to not go over the toes. You don't even sometimes like get 90 degrees full depth. It's a bit of a funny issue, so just make sure you follow their guidelines and follow by their rules, and you'll pass that fine. Bob's your uncle, done. So the level 2 is relatively simple and quite boring and painstaking if you've done it all before. And in the multiple choice, you can, if you've got a slight knowledge of it already, you kind of know what the answer is going to be from that already, because you just got an inkling. You might not know if you're certain, because the manual, you'll get a manual, which is just a ring binder manual to look at, and I can't remember exactly, but I think there's some bits to fill in inside it, which are perfectly easy, just some questions to fill in. and it will have the anatomy and physiology in there, and you can learn a lot from it. Don't get me wrong, I made sure to study that manual hard because I wanted to know it just for myself. Even if I could pass the exam, I wanted to just breeze it. For the exam, you get a tremendous amount of time. I finished it with loads of time left. Once you finished it, I just filled it in, checked it again, thought about it, and thought, right, I'm done. I'm handing this in. I had about half an hour to wait outside. It's quite nice. So the level 2 is very safe to get if you've got like a grounding. Then the level 3 is a bit longer. There's a few more weekends. It's the same process. Like every month, at the end of every month, there's a 2-day weekend where they like torture you and they take you through bits. It almost felt like a test of your own physical fitness and strength a lot of the time, because you do like a VO2 max and stuff. But it's quite nice doing it yourself because then you know what to expect your clients to feel when they're doing it. Because I hadn't done like a VO2 max test and things like that, so it was quite nice. And also, again, there's the social aspect, talking to the other guys who are doing PTing. There are moments where you're like, I don't have a better term than bro science for a lot of these things. There are some misguided information that they try and give you, and it's really it's horrible to see it because there's people who are teaching the course. This would depend on your teacher to how up to date they want to keep and who they follow, and whether they follow the science, if they're an evidence-based practitioner or if they're just, I don't know what else to call them if they're not evidence-based. They're just, don't want to call them an idiot, but they're just not evidence-based. I'm evidence-based. I follow people who are evidence-based. Research matters, science matters. It is our best guess, because everything is almost a guess. Not really, because you've studied it, but it's always a bit behind anyway. So the person educating you, if you are very interested in all of this stuff, you follow me, you follow people like me, or you follow the people I follow, Alan Aragon and Brad Schoenfield, Nick Terminello, Louis Schilder, I'm bad with names, tons of people. If you listen to like the Fitcast, who I've talked about, all these people, I've forgotten many people, but if you follow evidence-based practitioners, Alan Aragon's like, oh, Lyle McDonald, those two are like, everyone knows those two people, they're very well known. If you follow that sort of person, then you might hear things from the teacher, unless they know those people as well, that are a bit like, I disagree with that. Just pure example, my teacher was saying how he doesn't agree with eating apples. That sentence in itself kind of gave me a bit of a headache, and I was kind of like, what? And he also said, if you eat clean, I'll do the clean, then you can't gain weight. If you're eating the same amount of calories and you're eating clean, only you're like good, you've washed these foods, not washed them, but they're like whole foods, and versus a diet of processed foods, same amount of calories, both in excess of your maintenance. On the clean foods you won't gain weight, but on the other you will. That was his argument, and I just said, okay, that's what you want to say. I didn't really like that he was teaching other people that, but it was nice to see some of the other people kind of like, apples are bad, I don't really agree with that, so it's quite nice to see that aspect as well. So the level 3 is more in depth. You learn more muscles, more anatomy and physiology. You learn how to periodize programs, which I already knew about, but if you don't know how to do it or you don't know about it, it's very nice to see it. They had a basic periodization where every 4 weeks you'd have a deload and then you bring it up. I've forgotten what the exact name for that type of periodization is off the top of my head, but it's quite a nice variation of it. Linear periodization. You set up a 12-week program for your client, and you get a nutritional case study for your client. This could be a made-up client. I just based it off my mother. You can base it off anyone. They're not going to check that. It's fairly simple and systematic. For me, you just kind of, they want particular things, so they want you to use like the FIT principle that you'll find out during it, and the SMART principle, and then the SMARTER principle you could involve. And these are acronyms for things. So like it's frequency, intensity, time, and type for FIT, and then SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, time related. I think that's what they are anyway. So something like that, and you just base your answers off that. So if they say like, how does this relate to what's your client's long-term goal, then you put like the SMART principles, like how it's specific and all this to that person. So then you will have a theory exam, which again multiple choice. This is tougher. They ask you some weird questions. I had a weird question about halal meat that was not, you don't study this, it's just general knowledge. I feel like I should know it just myself anyway, and I was a bit peeved, to say the least, that I got this, how I didn't even know this off the top of my head. There was a question on halal meat, what religion requires halal meat, and obviously, well not obviously, because it wasn't obvious to me, I put Hinduism, which is wrong. It's Muslims, and it was just based off, I had a Muslim friend and I thought he was vegetarian, so I thought Muslims are vegetarians, which is wrong. They can eat meat, it's just got to be halal, got to be sacred. But yeah, there might be some weird questions in the exam which you aren't expecting. The rest is in the manual, and the rest is, again, it's not that big a step up from the level 2. It's quite achievable to pass. To be honest, I haven't had my results back, so if I have failed, it will be, if I have failed, I know I'm a smart guy. I know I am. I studied hard. I already had a good grounding in all of this knowledge. I did biology A level and things, and I did the level 2 very recently. So if I have failed, it's gonna trick people. Not trick you, but like you might fumble and fall. You only need 70%. Should have said that earlier. For all the exams to pass, I'm almost 99.9% sure I passed, and I'm pretty sure I have. So anyway, so that's fairly achievable. Then the exam itself, the physical that I had today, practical even, is very much like the level 2. Like someone will be there watching you, but you don't have to do all the pedantic-y stuff like technique and things. You can do your own exercises. I should have said earlier, in the level 2, they will give you exercises to do, and you just have to show how to do the form and everything. Whereas in the level 3, you pick the exercises you want to do. You have to pick. I had to do 4 different resistance techniques, so it's like negative supersets, drop sets, giant sets, trisets. I did negatives, antagonist, agonist, supersets, a post exhaust, and a pyramid set. Generally, in my training, I only really utilize like eccentrics and pyramid sets at the moment. Sometimes negatives now and then. So you have to show 4 of those in 2 different cardio types. So I did continuous and then intervals. So it worked out quite well. You just have to, make sure you tell them what, why, and how, and that's it, really. Relate it to their goals, and they'll love you. She was really happy that I related it to goals. Be motivational. She said I was a bit professional at the start, like not professional. Well, she said professional. I was probably a bit just like standoffish at the start, and then when I got in my comfort zone and we're doing weights, I was like all over the place. I did say when we're doing Romanian deadlifts to stick your ass out, which she was not too pleased about. She said, find a different word for ass. I don't know why, it just came to my head. I was doing it with my mum, and I was just like, stick your ass out. If you know Romanian deadlifts, you know you need to like pivot at the hips, stick your ass out. That's a nice cue. Anyway, so that again, I think is very achievable, and I got nice feedback. They gave me quite a lot of feedback, whereas in the level 2, they're just like, yeah, you passed, that's it. And they didn't pay me much attention. So then you have to hand in your coursework, which I've got like 6 weeks now to have handed that in, but I handed it all in today. Then you'll get your results. So that's what the course is. I've given you a very wide overview. If you have any questions, please just ask, because I've done it now, so I can tell you, I can help you do it. It was like $1,500 to do the level 2 and 3. I don't know where level 1 is. It doesn't exist. And I thought discovery learning as a whole fit my budget, fit my time frame. Shitty at organising, really, really bad at organising things. The people who work there, fairly well educated, nice people, very nice people. They're well educated. I mean, to be honest, they're very well educated. They know their stuff. They know the book. They know their systems. Like, they're very educated. I'm just not completely certain that they are evidence based. They might try to be, and there's just a few things I just disagreed with. Obviously, they've got a great amount of experience. Like, some of these people have been doing it for 15 years. They do. So I don't want to put a downer on them at all. So they're pretty good. The organisation is shocking organisation. Waiting around for ages. Like today, I was meant to be doing my exam at 10:15. I ended up doing it at 12:30. Didn't finish till 2. Didn't get everything done till 2. That's just shocking. Expected to be home by 2, easily home by 2. Had to travel all the way to London with my mum, and it's just like waiting around for ages. Just shocking. The weekends in total, shocking. They even cut out a weekend, so you paid for however many weekends, and they were like, we cut it short. I'm happy because I've got my qualification sooner, but it's just shocking. We're meant to do stuff. I just think the organisation terrible. I don't recommend them from that point of view. I've heard people. I haven't bothered even trying to contact them, by email, but other people have tried to contact them by email, and they're not very good at responding and things like that. So, education's good, like organisation is just so bad. It's a bit annoying, but if you're doing part time like me, it's kind of like you don't even think about it. It's just like I'm just doing this, just sit here, turn up for the weekend, just take it in, pass. Bob's your uncle, you're there. YMCA qualification. I mean, I haven't really looked in depth at the other ones. I have heard YMCA isn't necessarily the best one to go for. It does depend just on what you want to do. If you want to work for YMCA, do the YMCA course because that's gonna look good for you. But it's reps qualified. You can now register with reps, so it's all good on that front. Cost wise, it was a good cost from what I saw. Would I recommend it? It's hard to say I'd recommend it because I wasn't completely happy with it all. If you're in a situation like me, working 9 till 5, you have a good background knowledge and everything, and you're not too worried about just sitting there and taking stuff in, and you are happy to do that, then yeah, I probably would recommend it because it's worked quite well for me. I don't want to extend this too much longer because I know this is coming to 16 minutes now, and I've got a bit of a clip beforehand of afterwards. And so that's it. If you've got, like I said, any questions, any comments, any concerns, want to know anything about that process, just let me know because I've just literally done it. So I'm very happy to answer anything that you may have a question for. So cheers very much, guys. I hope that's been kind of insightful and interesting. I'm sure I've missed lots, so just let me know. Cheers.